Hey, heathens. So when we last left off, Eugenie Scott had been interviewed by Ben Stein, and one of the things that she mentioned was that one of the dirty little secrets is that the Catholic Church and some mainstream Protestants are fine with evolution. Stein asked the question, but is belief in a God compatible with belief in evolution? Remember that up until now, the entire position has been that this has nothing to do with God. Oh, no, 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 we're not talking about that. That's not what this is about. That's not where we're going with it. And it was constantly said that, from the evolution supporters, that this is just another attempt to push creationism into schools, and the whole idea, prayer would be next. You're doing it in your own film. You can't even get through the entire film without uh, going into exactly what they said this thing is leading into. So let's see what you have to say about it. So then the suggestion is made that the media is the next step in getting your theory published. That's funny because the last time I saw the media getting involved in the publishing of a scientific theory was never. So I have no idea what this is even talking about. Oh, science happens behind closed doors and we never hear about it until it's done and it's over and they've said, well, this information is conclusive. And then we get these people who start talking about how, we get media coverage, but it's always negative. Well, whose fault is that? Because the media is not run by the scientists. The media is not run by any organization that is in cahoots with the scientists. And it's certainly not being run by Richard Dawkins, who you continuously go back to. And he even says, I'm not good for this because people are going to attach evolution with atheism. It worked for him. It pushed him that direction. I didn't deconvert because I found out about evolution. I realized that maybe I shouldn't believe every single thing people tell me because they told me evolution was wrong, and in my studies, evolution was right. So, are you helping yourself by continuously denying evolution when all the science seems to support it? Let's keep going. So now we talk to people from the media talking about how they were silenced and how they weren't supposed to talk about this and they weren't supposed to give it credibility and all this other stuff. I hate to have to, point out the freaking obvious, but if you really think that you as a journalist can't side with the opposing side of science, have you never seen Fox News? I mean, seriously, these guys, make their stories on the opposing side of sanity. You go get a job with them. They'll hire you. They'd love for you to do it. In fact, they'd push you the other direction. It's just amazing to me that these people make these claims like, oh, they're silencing me over here at this newspaper. Okay, well then go work for another newspaper, one that won't do that to you. Because as Fox News has proven to us, there's a channel for everybody. This is one of my favorite parts of the film, and if you don't pay attention, you'll miss it. It's very, very interesting. They throw up a quick clip from the ACLU talking about how they spent all their time proving that to trying to convince the courts that intelligent design is just rewarmed over religious talk. Stein comes back saying, but I thought science was decided by the evidence, not by taking people to court. Right, because if the people who were suing, trying to get their religion pushed back into the school, would have gone and gotten their evidence. Again, give me the evidence proving your creationism, proving your intelligent design. Give me that evidence, and then we'll get it peer reviewed. We'll let people go through it and see if it actually holds any merit. And if that's the case, then we'll move on and we'll put it into the study. But you won't do that, will you? You want to skip that whole process and just go straight to being taught in the classroom. That's not how this works. That's why you're not winning this fight. That's why you're not going to win this fight. Because you're wanting to skip steps B, C, D, and E. You want to go from A to Z in one step, and that's not how this process is handled. And it's not the media stopping you. It's not the court stopping you. It's you stopping you. if you really have anything to back up your claims, prove it. So then we go back to Steinberg, who gives us a very, very brief history of the court system and evolution. Brief in the idea that it only covers one trial, the Scopes trial. Let's move on as we now get to the part where Ben Stein says, well then, intelligent design must challenge something at the heart of evolution for it to create this much hostility. So now we move into the full frontal science versus religion controversy. But remember, this whole thing has nothing to do with religion. Intelligent design is not about... Alright, I think the bell's been pulled back. Apparently intelligent design is about religion. And so it's all about Richard Dawkins and the God delusion, and they have people who are trying to rebut his arguments there. This is why you fail. This is why you can't get past it, because you can't even hold to your own talking points in an hour and 45 minutes on a film, so that you can avoid talking about religion, so that you can try and push aside that there could be a designer involved in the process. But even that fails because you don't even understand that. Fine, okay, there was a designer in the process. Evolution still happened though, and you haven't been able to disprove it. The evidence has been put out there. Is there. We have the fossils. We win. You have nothing. So let's get deeper into this war between religion and science, which you said it's not about. As they run through all the people who repeat over and over again that science and religion don't have to collide, and they don't. Science is about how. Religion is supposed to answer why. The problem is that sometimes they do clash, and they haven't historically. But one thing that's interesting is John Lennox is featured in the film, and he's the guy who was in the God delusion debate that I attended, and where he and Dawkins went back and forth. I'll link for those if you guys want to go back and watch those. But he said, well, if there was really a conflict, you would expect all scientists to be atheists. I wouldn't say all. Surely there'll be some that would cling to it. But if there was something to it, perhaps, maybe, I don't know, very high percentage of your top scientists in the field of biology, if evolution was supposed to be true, would be atheists. I wonder if that's the case. Lennox then completely and totally undermines an earlier point of the film. He says that when it comes to evolution, that we're being told that the science comes first and then comes the worldview. But he thinks it's the worldview comes first and then comes the science. Meaning that if you are an atheist, you then push the idea that, well, then evolution must be true because that's what I want it to be. Weren't you just saying earlier that evolution could possibly lead to atheism? Meaning that if your worldview was not from an atheist point of view, studying evolution would push you that way? No? That's not what you were saying? Keep that in mind. Oh yeah, we're about to come full circle. Will Provine tells his story about how he was studying evolution, and it led him to see that there was never any mention of a designer, and so therefore it led him to doubting in any deity. Oh no. Will he give up his faith in God? All because of evolution? Wasn't this not supposed to be about religion? Wasn't intelligent design not supposed to be about there being a God? Why are we suddenly talking about this? I would actually support you if you wanted to say that, but evolution doesn't say that there is no God. Okay, that's fine. I don't have a problem with you saying, okay, God created evolution. That's not what science is going to... Science is not about disproving God. So all the other little quotes that you had from other scientists saying that that's not what it's about. Yeah, I agree with them. Let's not get into that conversation because it's irrelevant. Science is about evidence. It's about experimentation and doing that whole bit. And intelligent design apparently has become, always was, about the religion, because now you can't shut up about it.